Arturo Guerra. I am the Audience Engagement Coordinator here at UHCL, The Signal, and thank you for tuning in to another episode of Signal Insight. With that said, here's my interview with Ethan Duke, Art and Design Major and Secretary of the Clear Lake Anime Watchers Club.
That is me. I am guest.
Talk about My Hero Academia. So this will be covering episodes 1 through 5. If you haven't heard them or read any of the manga or anything like that, I highly suggest that you go to Hulu and then start watching that, or I guess Crunchyroll, or however you watch your desired anime shows.
Or read the manga. That's also an option.
Or read the manga. That is definitely, that's where it starts before it becomes an anime. So, are basically graphic novels published in Japan, typically black and white, and the word pretty much refers to comics and cartooning in Japan. There's many genres: action, adventure, detective, comedy, and basically, if they're popular enough, then they get animated into their own show. So, My Hero Academia is set in a world of superheroes, a superhero society. So as far back as the 1930s in North America, at least, and even before that in the global scale, there's always been this kind of idea of superheroes and how they would actually kind of interact in society. So there's been comic books, there's been, movies and stuff like that, but it wasn't until like the mid-2000s, I think me and Ethan both agree that we'd like to attribute the resurgence of the big budget superhero movies, starting with Batman Begins in 2005 with Christian Bale.
Blade was like the early 90s, and that was kind of a lucky shot. So Batman Begins is definitely where things started to pick up.
Yeah, that's when like everyone just like, oh wait, they did really well with Batman, maybe we should do the X-Men.
Actually, no, X-Men came first.
Ooh.
X-Men was in 2002, 000, the original X-Men.
Yeah, yep, 2000, and then 2003, and then 2006 for The Last Stand.
Our apologies, ladies and gentlemen.
So 2000s, I guess, but still, they weren't coming out with them they are now. So the first X-Men was 2000 here on Google, and then the X2, X-Men United, was in 2003, and then The Last Stand. There's like a 3-year turnaround for the X-Men. Once DC and Marvel started rolling out, those movies really just kind of like went back to back to back. So yeah, superheroes are great. They are good for society in the sense that, they inspire people. They use their powers for good, so that's always a good thing to look up to, someone like that. And it's also somebody to identify with as a kid. So then that way, you either start to reflect their best traits or kind of take on their personality, if it's like a goofy or kind of lighthearted, or even if it's like a serious superhero that's all about the details and facts or something. So when did we start watching My Hero Academia? For me, I know I started watching it because of a friend who recommended it to me. He was already in like season 2 or something and was like, oh, have you ever seen this show? And I was like, no, what the heck is going on?
I watched it around like the beginning of 2018? No. Yes, beginning of 2018, because that was the show that the anime club on campus, the Clear Lake Anime Watchers, hashtag shameless self-promotion, they voted to watch the show, and we watch shows that we vote on weekly, and I just got really into it.
Yeah, I think I like the premise of My Hero Academia so much is, like, yes, it's these heroes, they're kind of out of reach because they do have these superhero powers, but I think in the show they say like 80% of the world now has the ability to kind of be born with these powers.
Like, not having superpowers is not cool anymore. It's like a reverse X-Men. It's like, boy, you don't have powers? What are you, a freak?
That brings me to my next point. Like, people with quirks, to me, I kind of saw that as either having some type of privilege or being in like a whole nother class because you have this quirk.
But that wouldn't really work as like an allegory the way X-Men was, because like...
Yeah, no way. Here they're accepted.
80% of the population.
Yeah, here they're accepted, and it's kind of like a majority of the population, whereas in X-Men, it's like a small percentage have these powers or mutations.
Right.
and then the majority of the people are like, oh my gosh, this is different. We don't know what to do. You're scary. But here it's kind of like explosion, I guess, for lack of a better word or phrase, of people with powers. So it's like one person is born radiating light, and then like after that it was like boom, all these babies started popping out with like the ability to breathe fire or like shoot water out their hands or just weird quirks is what they call them in the show.
Or make zippers on any sort of surface.
Yeah, like that one's odd, but I guess it could be useful.
Or like the ability to turn yourself into string. I don't know.
Yeah. So there's some pretty out there quirks, but for the most part, it's like mostly everyone has them.
Yeah.
And in this society, in My Hero Academia, the most popular hero tends to be the one who's also the richest and is also the most well-known and most successful.
Is All Might rich?
He is the number one hero, so yeah, he would be getting paid by the government, like the top salary.
That is true. Yeah, I sort of get that. I just never really saw him as, like, rich because he works at a school.
Yeah, and even before that, in his civilian clothes. It's super simple. It's a white t-shirt, brown cargo pants, just going to go get some soda in one of the episodes. So he's definitely not about the money, and that's kind of why he's my favorite character. I mean, he's literally like almost everybody's favorite character in the show. Because he is the number one hero, but
he's the Superman equivalent to this universe. Like the creator of the show said that like if Superman was in this world, it would be All Might.
Yeah, it's to me it's like a mix of Captain America and Superman. Because he's definitely got the Western influence. Like I think later in the show it says he did go abroad to the U.S.
Oh yeah, he like his attacks, like his big all-out attacks, are named after states. So it's like Texas smash, Detroit smash.
Yeah, I thought that was kind of cool.
It's hilarious.
So then, to like kind of building on that, the richest hero, the most popular hero, is all because the people who they're protecting kind of rate them as such. Like, yeah, there's a part of it of like, okay, you did help out in this disaster, you pulled out these many people out of trouble, but it really depends if you can sell yourself as a great hero. And it's kind of like tied into social media the way we are now. Like, if you don't
it is slightly. If you don't have a good public persona,
then you're kind of invisible. I mean, if you don't have like 10,000 followers, you're behind the power curve type of thing. And if you don't have followers as a hero, you might never move up or even be known as such.
There's a whole villain where their thing is like, heroes don't want to, they don't save people out of the kindness of their heart. They save it to make money. You're a bunch of freaking sellouts. And it's like, I don't know what to say, man. I got medical bills to pay.
Yeah, I mean, especially fighting crime and villains, and I could see how that would be kind of wear and tear down your body.
It's like, man, I gotta pay for stuff.
Yeah,
money can be exchanged for goods and services. What do you want me to say?
Yeah, and that to me that just adds another layer of like that society that they live in, because they do have to like be that. Super do-good kind of like, oh, nothing's gonna get me type of deal. Like, you still have to kind of exude that confidence and that persona.
It has very nice world building.
So in this world, UA is the like number one top hero school.
Yes.
This is like the most prestigious school training program. Like, they're still in high school, but it's like kind of...
You know what Sky High is?
Kind of, yeah.
It's basically that.
It's like Sky High. Like, it's still school, but they still give you like it's like a hero track that they put you on. So it's like also training you to like, yes, be book smart, to know like certain things, but also to think tactfully and how to use your powers and using them to the max of your ability.
They like put them in fake scenarios with like heroes and villains. They pin them against each other in fights with massive fake cities that they're building, which must cost like millions of dollars to build.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would assume the government's helping, because I think in the first episode it says that it is run by the government.
Yes.
And they get like their hero licenses through them and stuff, but Yeah, like that'd be kind of like UT having like, they have like a super badass stadium and like football gear and like helmets and stuff, because it's like, that's how kind of I liken why this school is like so prestigious. I see it as like, oh, we've pumped out the best heroes, to date. We've got one of our alma maters is the number one hero.
Yeah.
If you come through our school,
you'll be the best.
You'll be quality just by going through here alone. So that I kind of see that, how it's like, okay, there's different schools, there's different, programs in the country or whatever, in Japan, of these different high schools that also teach their students how to be heroes. But UA is where All Might, the main kind of protagonist, but kind of tritagonist.
No, he's not. No, our protagonist is our boy, our best boy,
Izuku
Midoriya, aka Deku.
Yeah.
He is our boy, our best boy, our wholesome cinnamon bun, too good for this world, too pure. He wants to be a hero, but he was one of the freaks that was born without a quirk.
Yeah.
Even though his mom and his dad both had powers, his dad had fire breathing and his mom had telekinesis. So he grows up, he still wants to be a hero, and like UA has a requirement, like you don't have to have a quirk to be a pro hero, as long as like, because there are some characters that like specialize in building gadgets, sort of like I don't want to say Q from James Bond, but I can't think of any superhero equivalent to that.
Right, yeah, where they're like mostly support, where I think that's the class titles that they're in.
Support class. So he doesn't have a quirk, and he gets picked on by all of his like classmates, including Bakugo, aka the true villain of the show, because he is absolutely evil. In the first episode, he tells Deku to kill himself.
He is pretty terrible. Yeah,
he has the quirk of like being able to make explosions with his hands
from his sweat.
His sweat. He sweats nitroglycerin.
Yeah, he's pretty problematic, and kind of just the whole first two like seasons. Like,
yeah, he's
spunky kid, that's for sure.
Izuku, in the first episode, like he rushes in to save Bakugo from a slime villain, and like All Might sees him, and he's like, "Whoa, this kid is really dumb, really reckless, but he has a big ol' heart of gold. I'm going to pass down my hero power to this kid." By the way, why is it that like in all of superhero fiction, a lot of it comes down to like genes, like genetics?
That's a good question. I remember Captain America. Yeah. The first movie.
That's not really like genetic stuff. That's just steroids.
Yeah.
That's just good old fashioned American steroids.
That's some GMOs right there. Yeah, but it's always something to do with like your body structure. Like, it's either like the main character or the one who's supposed to be the hero like doesn't have it or isn't kind of privy to that.
But then he finds out that he's from this long line of people with powers. It's almost like weirdly, I don't know what you would call it, like dynastic.
Yeah.
Like this idea that like you're special because of the circumstances you were born into.
But I think to me, that's what makes the story so good, is that like he was already told that like, look, you will not have powers. Like, you don't have the gene, you don't have the foot bone or whatever that they said.
It's like a defect in their pinky.
Yeah.
Like, their pinky toe?
I think so, yeah. It's like streamlined, so it's one bone instead of two, or something weird like that. But it's like he has to actually fight to earn his quirk.
Oh, yeah. All Might says, like, look, kid, you have 3 months, you have to study your butt off, and you have to clean up this entire beach with me. And, like, by the end, he's all, like, I don't want to say ripped, but he's, like, toned. Mm-hmm. Like, he's got some newbie gains. Yeah. Like, he's looking very tasty.
Defined.
Yes.
He's got,
looking like a snack.
Some pecs, you can see some bicep.
Abs.
Yeah.
He gets very swole. But he has to work for it himself, which I appreciate about the show.
So next kind of bullet point: why do you think society has become so obsessed with superhero societies or cultures, or it naturally would have happened anyways? I mean, to me, I've definitely been seeing the pattern of, since Marvel has started coming out with all these movies, recently, like the whole Thanos kind of arc with Marvel.
The Infinity Gauntlet stuff.
Yeah, like that was like some of the quickest turnarounds. It was like 1 year you had Infinity Wars, and then like that next year, boom, you've got the whole Endgame, and then it's like,
well, did Endgame come out the year after Infinity War?
Either next year or the year before, that same year, because
we're getting off topic.
Yeah.
The main point is, like, I think all this is coming from the fact that, like, yes, Disney and the Marvel arcs are the biggest, most widely known and widely consumed source of this stuff imaginable. And because nerds love to, like, propagate stuff and, like, there's this concept, like, with memes where they're just basically, like, ideas that, like, die out and, like, spread and change and get, like, molded into something else. Now, I'm not sure if My Hero Academia was written, like, when the Marvel craze was happening. I'm pretty sure it was. I think it was, like, 2014?
Yeah, I think it started 14 as a manga, and then, like, 2017, I think the anime was starting.
But, like, Japan has a thing for superheroes because its most popular show is Tiger and Bunny, and then the second most popular anime is the Tiger and Bunny movie, and that's about superhero societies and whatnot. So I think a lot of My Hero Academia does take influence from that show.
Yeah.
But it's another great show that you should watch. I also think it's on Hulu.
I mean, I know the new season's coming out mid-October, and then the new movie's supposed to come out in December of this year. So yeah, there's some good things to look forward to. If you're just starting out and interested in the show, I definitely recommend catching up before then. Before at least December.
Yeah.
Because even if you just start watching the show now, you'll at least have a lot of good binge material.
Yes. A very bingeable show.
And so with that, I think we're going to go ahead and try to close it out here. I did have a question with what character you identify the most with. I mean, kind of different from the Who's Your Favorite Hero, but from the get-go, like, I definitely identified with young Midoriya. Kind of like instantly.
He's very relatable. He's got the Peter Parker effect of, like, everyone can get behind what he's about. Yeah.
Kind of like the everyman for anyone who's kind of either been maybe even bullied or just kind of like felt like an outsider.
Or had a desire to, like, self-improve.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So Midoriya for me, for sure.
Most identify with, geez, that's a tough question. I would also have to say Midoriya. Deku.
Yeah. There's going to be way more characters, so this question is definitely going to evolve kind of as we go along, but
I'd say what quirk would you have? What quirk would you want to have in real life, in the real world? What would your quirk be?
That's a really tough question for me because there's so many cool ones.
I would have the ability to rewind time a la Max Caulfield in Life is Strange.
That would
so, like, I would be able to rewind, like, up to, I'd say 5 minutes would be a good limiter.
Yeah.
So, like, if something bad happened, I could, like, retract it. Like, if I said something awkward in a conversation, rewind it so it never happened. If I got shot, I could rewind it, and so I know what would happen, and I would, like,
avoid it.
Yeah, like, dodge the bullet.
I think for me, I would definitely have to go with Eraserhead. His quirk of quirk erasure.
Yes.
Is super cool to me. He can basically as long as he's looking at somebody, he turns on his quirk and he basically cancels out anybody's superpower or a quirk, or like if it's super strength.
Is it if he's looking at somebody, or does he have to make eye contact?
As long as he's looking at them.
Okay.
Yeah, as long as he's got eye contact on them, he can stop them.
All right.
And that's why, because he had the glasses to let people know where he's looking. Thanks everybody for listening.
Thank you, peoples. Don't edit that out.
Again, I'd like to thank my guests, Ethan Duke.
Plus Ultra.
And the first 5 episodes of My Hero Academia. I am Arturo Guerra, and this has been an episode of Signal Insight.